Hi screen printers, this is Colin from Ryonet. Today we're going to talk about printing black ink on black shirts. This isn't something new, it's been around for a while. It became really popular a few years ago. You saw it all over everywhere, and everyone had a slightly different way of doing it. But again, like I keep talking about, what is the emotional response that you, the printer, or that your customer is looking for? So there's a few ways to go about doing this. So I have three options here. We're using a piece of art from our Golden Press art packs. It's a little skull dude with a beard and a beanie hat, quite apropos for today's generations. I'm printing ink through a 156, and then I have a 110. These are all hydro. Squeegee type doesn't really matter. But in most cases, using a softer squeegee, a 70 durometer squeegee is just fine. So the main looks that you see out there for black on black is either just straight black on black, and it is what it is. Black with a little bit of a loft to it, a little bit of a puff that still looks fairly black. Some of those can shift that black to a little bit of a charcoal. And then you see clears printed directly on black, and then you see a glossy black. The clears printed on black and a glossy black are very similar. Depending on your substrate, you may choose one over another. Like heavy poly content, clears look really, really good on it, but also might have too much gloss. So again, where I'm going with this, there's no wrong way to do a black on black, but you need to play and figure it out. So I've got three screens here with different ways of playing with black ink on black or a clear on a black to tint it darker. And we're just gonna show you how it works and things that you can do through the dryer to get effects. So with that said, I'm gonna start off. I have standard black, I have a soft clear, and then I have black with 10% puff additive in it. The puff additive is in a 110 mesh. The amount of puff you always get is dependent on ink layer thickness, thin deposit, a little bit of puff, thick deposit, bigger puff, and also how much puff you put in there. Don't put in too much because it can blow up and then collapse. Also, don't get it too hot because it can collapse. Little like bubble wrap expand cells. It gets bigger, 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 and then it pops. Don't want to do that. Unless you want suede, then let it pop. But buy suede additive. So let's print some. So the shirts I'm printing on are San Mars DT104. You've seen us print on these in other videos in the past, specifically the white ink on black shirts video. Perfect weight distic thread, extra large. And this is FN black going directly onto the fabric. Very first print. So I'm going to flood, going to print. Oh, I should note that I'm printing this on the Riley 150 that we just had put together. And this is my first time using this press. So wet, you can see that we definitely have a tonal difference. You'll get a little bit of change as you cure it, but you can immediately see that there's a tonality difference to this. And that's just one pass. I'm going to do a second one. There's several approaches you can do this. I'm going to just try and do them all. So I'm going to get this one more. There we go. It's a little smoother. The last one had just a little bit of fiber poke through it. So I'm going to lift this. And again, this is just FN black through a 157 screen. Going to lift this, show it off. It's wet. You've got a little bit of gloss to it. And I'm going to run it through our dryer, and it's set for low cure. So it's going to hit about 260, maybe 270 degrees. And then I'm going to do one more of black, except for I'm going to get this one hot. I'm going to get this one hot to the point that it gets glossy. Another way you can get a nice shiny black is do a print flash print. But there's, again, many different ways to do black ink on black. Black is printed, now for the clear. So as I'm talking about clears, all clears will behave a little differently, and they're also going to behave a little differently depending on the fabric content of your shirt. If you have a lot of polyester content in there, the clears will cause it to look a little bit wetter, and as a result a little bit darker. So you get an interesting contrast difference. A single stroke look. Shows up pretty good. Again, this is wet ink. I'm going to hit it one more time. So pulling it off, you don't see a whole lot of difference. Run this through the dryer. And now for the puff. Surprisingly, they all look very similar. This one will give us a little bit of loft, and let's take a look at it after. So as you can see, we have black, clear, and then a little bit of puff additive. Adding puff gets us the charcoal effect, and there are going to be a lot of people who like this charcoal on black, even though they're going to call it a black on black. And then there are people who want a very subtle black, and that's where the super soft clear is giving us a tonal change, and it's not very much, it's very subtle. And then this is FN black, just 2 strokes onto the mesh and then cured low temperature. And then this is FN black made glossy. I ran this really hot so that we would get a little bit more shine out of it. If you were to be on press, or if I was to be on press and I wanted to do a black on black, I always want to, because there's going to be some fibers, you know. Again, we're not looking for a heavy deposit, we're looking for a thinner deposit. I always like to give that gentle flash and then using a smoothing screen just to tap down the fibers. You see me talk about it a lot. It gives a very professional look before it goes through the dryer. And then once it comes out the dryer, it doesn't look like it's freshly out of a heat press. It still looks like it was screen printed, but very smooth. So that's what I would do for both of these. I would get a very flat, clean look out of it. I wouldn't get the texture from the fibers. That's my personal approach, and you know, give it a shot yourself. See if you like it or not. But as you can see, printing black on black is very, very simple. It's just a question of what do you like and what does your customer like, and then being able to easily repeat it. If you want an even shinier black, you can either flash print your black, or you can find a gel or something that's going to have a lot of gloss to a cured finish, and then print that. I especially like doing that on polyester or polyester heavy garments, because then it gets really rich, really shiny. And that'll do it. Black on black is fairly simple. If you guys like what you see, hit the subscribe button. We'll show you more. If you have questions on this, or if you have other ways of doing black ink on black, let us know. Put it down in the comments below. Like always, I read them, I respond to them, I say thank you. Reach out to us on our social media channels. Let us know what you're doing. Show us the cool stuff you're doing. We'd love to share. We'd love to talk to you about it. Have converse. Take care, screen printers. Talk to you next time.